Hello, this is Gene Thorpe, Little Red Rooster TV. I've had lots of my friends call me up at different times and ask me if I'm still booking bands, because back in the 80s, actually I started booking bands in the 60s, but in the 80s I had an interesting thing happen to me. I was booked by a booking agency here in Sacramento, and mysteriously one night it closed. And at the time I was writing reviews for a magazine called Sacramento Entertainment Guide and Directory, where we would cover about 125 bands per month and nightclubs that had live music, because back in those days there was an awful lot of live music. And when this top booking agency in town closed, I was also working in the music store, and so many of the musicians came to me and said, "Hey, why don't you go ahead and get a talent agency license, start booking our band," because they all knew me, and I started doing it. And the name of the talent agency was GTA Talent Agency, and we booked about 30 bands a week, Sherry, my wife, and I. And fortunately for me, I was usually playing gigs on the weekends, but on Fridays and Saturday nights, Sherry would get the calls about the bands that either showed up drunk or high, or possibly were late, or any of that kind of stuff. And we did that for a number of years until we got into real estate. But anyway, the point is that if you wanted to book your band or yourself as an entertainer, here are some of the things I would talk to you about, and I'm going to reverse engineer it and think of it like this. One comment that John Patton said, and John is the keyboard player in our band, he said, entertainers generally hire musicians, but musicians don't generally hire entertainers. Now, what's interesting is the general public, they think they want a band or whatever, and they will generally choose someone that they deem as an entertainer over someone who's just a musician. Musician can play well, but that doesn't mean necessarily that they can communicate with the audience or any of that type of thing. So here are the things that I would consider. And I would also consider this. The people that make the money in the music business generally are the songwriters. So if you are a singer, songwriter, and can play a musical instrument, that means that you are going to be able to figure out who you sound like, what kind of music you like, and emulate the artists that are sort of similar to you, and kind of then start looking for places to play that would want those types of entertainers. Like back in the day, in the 60s and that type of thing, the British invasion came out, and many of the American bands at that time, were playing probably in country clubs and weddings and that type of thing, and it was a certain particular style. But when that British invasion came, it was a different type of a thing, and so it was easy for the American bands to emulate the British bands, the Beatles, the Stones, all of that type of thing, and everybody liked that kind of music. It was all over the top 10. So if you did that kind of music, you would probably go out and play gigs. Here are some of the things that I think musicians need to consider. First of all, before you go out and play a gig, you'll need to know enough material to be able to get through 3 or 4 sets of music. A set is usually about 45 minutes. Usually you'll take a 15-minute break, so if you start at a particular time, 45 minutes of playing, take a 15-minute break, play some more. Now, the big stars usually only play 45 minutes. In fact, when the Beatles were in their heyday, they only played usually 22 to 27-minute sets and made the most money live of anybody, at the time. So anyway, here's what I would recommend that you do, is figure out enough material to get through that period of time. Also keep in mind that if you're a songwriter or whatever, what you'll probably want to do using songs as tools is pick tunes that are going to make the audience like you and remember you. And then once you have them won over, if you're a songwriter, then start weaving your tunes in. So here are the basic 3 things you're going to need to start with. Your material, so you'd want a song list. Number 2, you want to have a picture, and you want to make sure that that picture presents yourself as the way somebody might want to hire you. And you're going to need some type of media. Today, the greatest media would be a video. So we're going to be talking about that too at later times. But this is just part 1 of booking yourself as a band. Gene Thorpe, Little Red Rooster TV, signing out.